This is Module 5 of Rentwise, Taking Care of the Home. I'm Lorene Bartos, a Rentwise instructor, and I will be talking about taking care of your home today. So, first of all, when you rent, you are signing a contract, a lease, that you will take care of your home just as if it were your own. And it is because you're renting it from the landlord. We want to make sure that when we think about this module, that there's all kinds of different standards that people use. What I think is clean may be different than someone else's. What is clutter? What is that? So what we want to do is just talk a little bit about some things that we can use to keep our home clean, because we know everybody does it. It's just a different standard and a different way. So first of all, we want to talk a little bit about why do we keep our home clean? And first of all, everything that comes up are bugs and rodents, and of course we don't want those. But we also want a place that has a healthy environment for all of us because we feel better that way. There's less fire hazards, and we don't look for things all the time because we didn't put them away. Also, if our place is clean and healthy, the Child Protective Agency won't have to check on children or take children from the home. So we're going to talk a little bit about what kinds of things we can do to clean our home and what we can use. First of all, we'll talk about cleaning supplies. When you go to the store, there's shelves and shelves of cleaning supplies. Something that you can buy for every spot, every stain, everything there is to clean. But with prices expensive, there's some ways that we can be more economical in cleaning. So we're going to talk about some of those right now. So first of all, one of the products is a dish soap. Now it can be any brand. I just happen to have Dawn. And this can be used to clean most anything. Spots, stains, walls, whatever. A good all-purpose cleaner. Another product is a chlorine bleach. And a chlorine bleach is used for disinfectant and for cleaning with that. Most people use it in cleaning bathrooms, for sanitizing, or even in laundry with that. Another product that many use, some of you may use this, is sudsy ammonia. It is a good grease cutter and wax cutter. Back in the day when we waxed floors, this was used to help take the buildup along the edges with that. So, these two are not friends. Never, ever, ever mix them. Because if you do, it can put off a toxic fume that can kill you. And many times they're used in closed bathrooms or places where there's not a lot of air. So these two never, ever mix. So that takes us to, do you read the labels on your cleaning supplies when you get them? Many maybe do some of them. Some don't read any. But there's something on the back of dish soap that helps us. And it says, do not add bleach. Now, many people add bleach to your dishwater when you're washing dishes. And why would you think they say, do not add bleach? That's because it's a grease cutter. And what do we use to cut grease? Ammonia. So adding ammonia to the dishwater could put off the toxic fumes. Most of the time there's not enough, but it's a caution for us. So if we want to sanitize our dishes, let's put it in the rinse water. Then we won't have a problem. Now the next product that we have is white vinegar. White vinegar is used for many, many different cleaning things. It's an acid. And an acid is used to remove lime and calcium deposits. Many people will say, well, I use it to clean my coffee pot. Back in the day when we ironed a lot, people put it in the iron. It's a natural product, so we don't have to worry about it being harmful, keeping it away from children, pets, or whatever. So vinegar is good as an all-purpose cleaner. It also neutralizes urine. So you can mix water, maybe half water, half vinegar, even stronger on the vinegar part, put it in a spray bottle, mark it vinegar, water, and it can be used if you have pets, if they have an accident on the carpet, or, you know, it might even be kids that have an accident, or adults, but then you can spray that and it will help neutralize it. Even though when pets do their thing on the floor, that goes through the carpet, through the padding, and onto whatever the flooring is underneath. So it's still, the smell may come back, but that does help. It also disinfects, like Clorox or chlorine bleach. Now, many daycares no longer use bleach, but use vinegar because of the allergies to this. So it can be used full strength, half and half, or in any portions. It's just a very good all-purpose cleaner. Used for windows. I like to put a little in my water when I'm scrubbing my floor. I have a wood floor. I don't get a lot of water on it, wring it out, but the vinegar just helps with cleaning. So that's a good product to have. Another product is a rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol works to remove ink from fabric, on surfaces, whatever. They used to say that we would use hairspray. Well, it's the alcohol in the hairspray, so we don't have to buy expensive hairspray, but we can buy a bottle of alcohol. Now, 91% has more disinfectant than this, but for cleaning purposes, this works fine. So those are some basics. Now, there's another product we have in our kitchen, baking soda. And baking soda is used mainly for odor absorbent. So it's put in the refrigerator. And yes, you do need to open the box when you put it in there. It works better that way. That was a question I was asked one time. So you put it in there. When you're done, it's been in there a couple months, feel like it's absorbed all the odors, then you can take a half a box, put it down the drain, put a cup of vinegar or some boiling water with it, and that will help clear a sluggish drain and freshen it up. So give it new life after it's done. There. You can also use it for making a paste for cleaning like fixtures in the bathroom, a glass top stove, puts in pots and pans with burned on food, but lots of ways to cleaning, and it does cleaning like Comet and Ajax and those things, but it's not near as abrasive and a lot less expensive. So there's soda. Another product is Goof Off. And Goof Off, it doesn't really goof off, but Goof Off takes out latex paint, gum, sticky stickers, chewing gum, all those kinds of things. It is a solvent, so that's why it takes those things out. Again, it's can be a fire hazard, so you want to keep it away from those types of things. Goo Gone is also a product that's a solvent, but is usually colored and has a yellow look, and it's a citrus, and I just like the clear better to use. All right, what else do we have? Another thing for cleaning, whoops, come on, it's a pumice stone. And if you haven't used a pumice stone, they're very good for cleaning in the toilet when that brown ring gets there, or the colored and brown from the water and the minerals. Lincoln really has hard water, so we run into that. Other places may too. So you use this, but you have to use it wet. You have to use it down in the water, otherwise it will scratch, and you'll end up buying a toilet or bathtub or whatever scratches. So there's lots of uses for the pumice stone. And This one doesn't have a handle, but my husband recently found one at Menards that had a handle on it, which makes it maybe a little easier to use. Okay, another product that's on the market are magic erasers. Now, people either love them or hate them, but they're a sponge that has very strong cleaning in it. And they disintegrate as you use them. You use them wet. So many people cut them in pieces so that they last longer. They say you get a black mark or crayon on the wall. You can wet this, rub it. Not too hard so you take the paint off, but it will take the crayon off. It's good for taking fingerprints off of walls, off of doors, cleaning sinks that get a stain like coffee or tea. So just lots of different things. There are different brands, but I do find Mr. Clean probably lasts longer and is a little bit more effective. They also have the sheets now, which are very useful also. So that's basically some cleaning supplies that we can use. There's others on the market that many of you may use. It might be Lysol. Pine Sol is another thing that comes either as an all-purpose cleaner or a disinfectant. So you need to know what you're buying when you do that. Some people don't like Pine Sol because of the strong pine smell with that. But there's many, many things on the market. These are just a few basics that can help you in cleaning your living quarters with that. Stop and think. How can I use these in my apartment? Now, we want to move on to what do we use to clean with. We can call them tools. So we'll start out with a squeegee. Now this is just a little one I have in my kit, but there's some nice ones with rubber and sponges on them that work very well for cleaning windows, full glass doors. And one place that they work really well is in showers, bathtubs with doors. Because when we don't take this moisture off of our showers and bathtubs, that is where we get mold and mildew, because it comes from excess moisture. So this is where we want to run our exhaust fan for 20 minutes or until the mirror is clear to do that. So a squeegee with that. Another thing that we need are rags, that type of thing. Now we can all go out and buy some kind of rags, but we also all have old towels, old t-shirts, and my favorite, old socks, because there's always a stray sock running around. And when we use these, you can do this, put your whatever you're using to dust with, dust. I cut them apart, and I like to use this thicker part when I'm scrubbing the floor. Then you can either launder these and use it again, or it can go in the trash with that. It's a good way to keep kids involved with cleaning. You let them put this on and dust, whatever. So those are some things that we have handy that we can use as other tools. Then there's also kinds of scratchers and sponges, so forth. We need to be careful when we're using these kind of tools because all of our fixtures are not porcelain anymore. We have a lot of man-made fixtures or walls with bathtubs and showers, and we don't want to scratch them with those. The old steel scratcher that used to clean everything isn't so handy today with that. Okay. And the other thing I have in my tub that works, it's called a Zip-It. And it's a small snake. You have heard of snakes that they put down drains? This is a Zip-It. You put it in, it takes out the hair, the soap scum that gets down a drain that makes it drain slower. They say a one-time use, but I've used several times, and as long as these little prongs aren't broken off, you're good to go. So those are some tools there, but also we need brooms, dust mops, buckets. We talked about rags. A vacuum. Everyone needs a vacuum, whether we have all carpet or not, because we need to vacuum our furniture, we need to vacuum the bed, the mattress, the box screens, vents in the house, all those kinds of things. So a vacuum is important. And then, of course, the toilet brush. Everybody needs a toilet brush to clean the toilet. Now, one lady in a class told me she had two. One she uses for the toilet, and one she uses for the bathtub because it's hard to get down and clean. I thought, what a great idea. She just marks them and away she goes. So that. And then the other thing is a plunger. Hopefully everybody has seen a plunger or knows what it is, but it's a rubber on the bottom with a handle to use for stopped up drains or toilets before calling maintenance. It's sometimes we need to do some of these things ourselves before we call for help with that. And so are there other tools that you can use? Of course. There's Swiffers. A lot of people like Swiffers, feather dusters, all kinds of things. A lot of people wear gloves, which is fine. So those are things that you have to decide what works best for you in cleaning your small apartment, large apartment, a duplex, or a full house. Those things will help you do that. And it helps if you keep it not like a little tub like this, or a bucket, or your cleaning supplies in an area. If you have two layers, an upstairs, a downstairs, a basement, you may want to have a tub you can carry or one you can leave upstairs and downstairs so you don't have to carry them around so much. So that basically talks about the cleaning supplies, products, and the cleaning tools that we need to take care of our place that we live. Okay, now let's move to actually cleaning the house, cleaning the apartment. There are certain things that the landlord wants you to do and that you need to do. We need to have a schedule that's a daily, a weekly, and a monthly schedule. This way you can kind of work out when you're going to do things. A lot of people like to do a spring cleaning or a fall cleaning and have certain things that they do deep cleaning at that time. But we're just going to talk now about some real basic things to do. And we're going to start with the kitchen because that's probably one of the harder places to keep clean because there's so much going on in the kitchen. Some daily things that we need to do in the kitchen are, of course, do dishes. Now, you're probably not going to, if you just have a cereal bowl and a cup or a glass in the morning, you're not going to get a pan of dishwater and do that. If you have a dishwasher, put it in, you're fine. Otherwise, rinse it, leave it set in the sink, and then at the end of the day, do them all. What landlords don't want to see happen, or anybody, is to let dishes sit in the sink and it gets grimy and bugs and so forth come with that. So that's what we want to do. We want to wash dishes. We want to wipe down counters. We want to, as far as sweeping the floors and so forth, we need to do that and scrubbing. But it kind of depends on the number in your household. Do you have pets? Do you have little kids? Do you have sloppy adults? Whatever. We need to sweep the floors. We need to scrub them once in a while, whether you do it on your hands and knees or with a mop. Do that. And that might be a weekly task rather than a daily task. Then, what do we do monthly in the kitchen? There are some things that we need to do more often and others not so often. Let's first go to the refrigerator. The refrigerator should be cleaned thoroughly once a month. That means taking things out, wiping off the shelves, getting rid of old things that are out of date, cleaning the shelves and the doors, which we kind of forget about. We put clean things in a refrigerator, but it still gets kind of grody sometimes. So do that. Weekly in the refrigerator you need to go in and look at what got shoved back that you saved as a leftover you were going to eat. It happens at our house anyway. And there it is. We haven't eaten it. So get rid of those kinds of things. Also, if you have a self-defrosting freezer with your refrigerator, then you're good. But you still need to clean it out once in a while. But if you need to defrost it, you need to do that before the ice and frost builds up and slows down the running of that refrigerator. And also with the refrigerator, we can't forget the top. Some people aren't tall enough to see the top, but it gets very grimy because of the grease, the dust, and moisture in the kitchen. So that's someplace that needs to be cleaned. And we all use the top of the refrigerator as a storage area, whether it be trays, whether it be cups or glasses or water bottles. So we do need to check it and wipe it off. The other thing is cleaning the motor and down underneath the refrigerator. Also, pulling it out once in a while, because some little gremlins take and get all kinds of stuff under, down, and beside them. And when you go to get a different one, it's kind of scary what you find. So that happens when people move in and out of apartments because those things stay. And don't forget to wipe off the fronts, the sides. If you have a water dispenser, you need to clean that area because water drips and then it stains that. Now we'll move to the next fun thing in the kitchen, which is the stove. Depending on if you have a gas stove, an electric stove, a glass top, or a top with burners. A glass top is easy to clean. If you wipe it up when something spills, you don't have any problems. The stoves with the burners, the same thing. If something spills or burns, clean it. Then it won't be so hard. The little pans underneath, you can take those out, or you can buy foil ones to put inside of them. Just don't wrap foil around them like they used to, because if that foil touches the element, it could spark the element and burn the element out. But that's one thing that landlords will charge you for when you move out, if they're really burnt on black, like can happen. There's the knobs. If you have a drawer in your refrigerator, how about your stove? If you have a drawer there, you need to take that out because there's lots of crumbs and things drop in there and come down the side of your stove. You'll want to pull it out and clean also. The oven, how often should you clean it? Well, it depends on how much you use it. If you use it a lot, then you're going to clean it more. If it's a self-cleaning oven, it's easy. Turn that on, let it go. It does get very hot. If it isn't a self-cleaning, you need to use Easy Off. Or another thing that helps, take a little dish of ammonia, cup of ammonia, set it on a shelf, set a pan of water underneath, leave it overnight or several hours, and it will help loosen up and help you to clean your oven. And if things burn on, you have to clean it off. You know, sometimes something cooks over and it burns. Well, you can scrape it off and work with it. Also, we used to say you could put a piece of foil down in the bottom of your oven to catch all those drips. Now, they're also saying if that turns up and hits the element, it could burn it out. So you don't want to do that, but you can buy a piece that's made to fit down there to help with that. When you're cleaning your oven with Easy Off or whatever, or even a self-cleaning and you're cleaning it, put something on the floor in front of it so nothing drips out and ruins the flooring in front, because it could do, and then you'd be paying for flooring. We don't want to do that. So that pretty much takes care of the stove, except if you have a hood or over the top, a range hood, and you turn it on to take the air smell out. Then there are two little vents, little metal vents there that slide out. Those need to be cleaned every so often, either in the dishwasher or hot soapy water. So because that's what collects all the grease that you cook with. And always clean the hood, wipe it out also. The next thing I think about in the kitchen is a microwave, because mine's above the stove. You need to wipe it out every time that you use it and something cooks over. Cover food when you put it in there. That will help your cleaning 100%. If something does cook on, put a cup of water in there, bring it to a boil. Some people like to take a sponge or a cloth and wet it and put it in there for a short time. A cloth or so, you could probably do 30 seconds or so. Water, it'll take longer to boil. When that's done, take it out, let it, and then wipe it out. Take the turntable out if you have one and clean it. So that takes care of the microwave. There are other little vents on the front that you want to clean. If it's a tabletop one, then clean off the top and so forth with that. Okay, just make sure in your kitchen that you're wiping down your cupboards, your counters, all those kinds of things. If you have cupboards that have the open area at the top where you put all the pretty things, you need to clean that also, because it gets just like the top of your refrigerator from the dust and the moisture in your kitchen. Ceiling fans, we have one in the kitchen, that's why I always connect those. Clean your ceiling fans, dust them off, because if they come on, the dust bunnies go flying. And that's kind of embarrassing, especially if you have company. So clean ceiling fans, clean light fixtures, depending on what kind you have in the kitchen. Let's see, is there anything else? I think that's the main things that we talk about in cleaning the kitchen, except the garbage. When do we take out the garbage? We used to say when the garbage came, a couple times a week. Now it comes once a week. And depending on what's in your garbage, if you have diapers, raw food, a lot of food, it probably needs to go out every day. If you don't have much food in there, you recycle, you have just some paper, it could go longer. But just take it out often. And when you take it out, take the garbage bag out, clean the wastebasket, trash can, whatever it's in, because it gets dirty inside and out. And all those things can draw bugs if they're around with that. Okay, so I think we've pretty well got the kitchen cleaned. You do, somebody mentioned in a class, not to forget the silverware holders and those, and that's right, in the drawers, there's always those little crumbs that collect. So it's going to be different for different people. Landlords probably aren't going to come in and look in every drawer. They're going to look overall, and they have the right to do that. They can come in and look at your apartment, but they need to give you 24 hours notice. So if you just keep on top of things, you don't have any worries. Now, what's the next room that we really like to clean? The bathroom. So in the bathroom, what we want to look at is cleaning the toilet inside and out, and the wall behind it. The bathtub, showers, sink, mirrors, wiping down cabinets, because, I don't know what you want to call it, things fly. And so they will, like you brush your teeth, it gets on the cabinet or the wall. You need to wash those off. The wall behind the mirror. If you look from the side, you can see where there's hair product on there. Take some soapy water, some shampoo water, and wash it down. Along with washing walls throughout your house every once in a while. It's probably not a monthly task, but maybe once a year. And that's a lot, that's ambitious to do that, but it's something that needs to be done. And the other thing in the bathroom, or any room that has light fixtures that just has the bulbs there, that on the top catches dust, and if there's moisture, it gets cakey, and that can burn out the lights if that's left too long. So you want to do that when the lights have been off and it's cool, not when it's when they're hot, because then they could break. Scrub the floor in the bathroom, any rugs. And one thing you might think about with rugs, if you're putting on linoleum, is the rubber-backed rugs will sometimes interact with the flooring and leave a mark of the rug. And that happens in kitchens and bathrooms, and there's nothing you can do to get that up. So that's something that you may have to be paying for flooring in that case. So I think the other thing is running the exhaust fan in the bathroom, which I mentioned earlier, for 20 minutes or until the mirror is clear. If you don't have a fan or a window, leave the door open so the moisture doesn't collect, because you will not get mold and mildew if you do not have excess moisture. Shower curtains are another thing. Pull them open when you're done. Don't push them to the side, because that's where the mold and mildew gets at the bottom. And now we'll just think generally in the house. Floors need to be vacuumed. Depending again on your situation, might be daily, might be weekly, but probably once a week you should sweep or vacuum floors. And this is in all rooms, bedrooms, whatever. Bedrooms can sometimes get neglected with that. Also, to keep your carpet from daily wear and tear, take shoes off, put a mat by the door. Those kinds of things help with carpet care or floor care. Also, if you have spills or stains, treat them immediately with even just clear, warm water, because the longer a stain sits untreated, the harder it is to get out. So that's important to remember there. Washing windows is important, washing walls, dusting, taking cobwebs down, all of those kinds of things. So as we stop and think, now we've talked about tools, we've talked about where to clean, we just need to get us a schedule of how we're going to clean so that we don't leave it all to when we move out. But if we clean, and there used to be the old adage where Monday was wash day, Tuesday was this, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If we set something like that up, or a schedule, then it is easier to keep our place clean, and we'll feel better and be healthy with it. Another part of Module 5 is pests. And none of us like pests or bugs in our homes. Probably some of the most common ones are cockroaches. Cockroaches are nocturnal. You don't want to see them during the day. You don't really want to see them at night either. But if you do, you've got a real problem. If you see a bug, like bed bugs, cockroaches, things like that, you need to let your landlord know, because they need to help you treat them, but they don't want them to go throughout the whole apartments with that. So if you look in the manual, if you're doing Rentwise, on the bottom of page 30, there's a website that goes to, it's a University Extension website, and it has different neb guides on lots of bugs and things around the home that you can use. Cockroaches you can treat yourself. And it doesn't mean you're not a good housekeeper, because they can come in a bag of potatoes, a paper sack, a cardboard box, a bag of flour, a bag of rice, anything like that. If the conditions are right, they're going to hatch out. So they like crumbs, they like pet food, they like water. So in a basement, a lot of times you have a drain. That's a good thing to draw cockroaches. So you want to watch all of those. Don't let food set out on the floors or that, clean up crumbs. So cockroaches. The other one is bed bugs, which a few years ago were very prevalent, a lot of problems. Not so much now, but we still need to be cautious. Bed bugs are very tiny, they're hard to see, and they can be picked up anywhere. They like to grab on and go with you. So if you think you have bed bugs in your apartment, you need to let your landlord know. They have to help you treat them, but you may have to pay for the treatment, because bed bugs have to be treated professionally with that. Some people are allergic to them, and when they bite them, they actually have bites. If you're not, you may not even know. And they don't just like beds. They'll take upholstered furniture, clothes, mop boards, those type of things, sockets, light sockets, anything. Even someone recently said they brought home a wooden table, and all at once they had bed bugs all over their house, had to get rid of everything. So you need to be very cautious with that. It either takes extreme cold or extreme heat to get rid of bed bugs. You can't treat them yourself. So be very careful and report that to your landlord. And the third thing that we want people to know about is lead paint. If a house was built or a place before 1978, it could have lead paint several layers down. It's not going to be harmful if it's not chipping or there isn't remodeling and the dust is there. And landlords need to let you know if there is lead paint in the building or if there's asbestos, so that you can be cautious. If you have children under the age of 6, and you think there's lead, they should be treated because it can affect them mentally and physically, and that's not good. So just be cautious when you're renting, that you know what's in the apartment. If you find bugs, report it. The landlord isn't going to be upset. They will be pleased to help you, well, maybe not pleased, but they will help you, and they don't want it to spread through the whole apartment building. If you have mice, it's the same thing. You won't have one mouse. And they can come in very, very, very tiny holes, and they like to come in the fall, and you might not see them, but you will see their droppings. So just be cautious. As far as spiders and ants and those things, you just need to treat, but the landlord probably isn't going to come running if you have those. So just be cautious, be aware of bugs, and take the proper precautions in your apartments. Think about these kinds of things. Good luck as you go on to renting your apartments. Cleaning. Keep it up all the time you're living there. It'll be much easier when you move out. So good luck.